Listen to a very special Roll with the Troll.
Special indeed.
This is not a bullshit episode today of Roll with the Troll. Today we are talking about a very serious topic. The upcoming film Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
We need to know, where was Michael Myers from the years after the year 2018 up until modern day? Now let me get you all caught up.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends takes place in 2022. The last two films took place in 2018. But as you know, Michael Myers likes to come out on Halloween. So
he missed a few.
Yeah, I mean, how did he miss 2019, 2020, and 2021?
Inquiring minds want to know.
And yet they're so anyway, you get the idea. In case you don't know the channel, my name is The Troll. I will be your host tonight in this very special episode of Roll with the Troll. I'm here with the lovely co-host, the voice of reason.
Thank you.
She likes to interject some logic when I often,
go off the rails,
lose track. So let's talk about this very serious thing. Now, let's back up. At the end of Halloween Kills, it was the year 2018. Michael, by the way, spoilers, guys.
Yeah.
Michael ended his Halloween 2018, let's call it trick-or-treating, by slaughtering Karen. Karen was murdered. It was probably at this point like 4 a.m, I figure.
Yeah.
Because the two films together easily were like 5-6 hours. So it seems like they got started around 10 o'clock. I'm figuring it's a good 4 a.m. So he kills Karen and the movie ends, but we're to assume that Michael just called it a night. He just felt like he had taken that Halloween as far as he could. The whole town had gotten together, beat the shit out of him, and he just rose right back up. I think he felt like, look, I got 2 movies worth out of one night. That's good enough. Haven't done that since we used to call Halloween 2 canon. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And Michael went wherever he would possibly go. Now, what happens in 2019 to keep him from showing up? Because we're skipping over 2019. And let me say this. I don't think there's a chance in hell that this Halloween Ends film taking place in 2022 is going to now come up with some story for something that happened off screen in 2019, right? That's ridiculous. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So they've got to explain why he wasn't around in 2019, 2020, or 2021. Now, to me, we already know 2020 and 2021, don't we? We know why he wasn't there. That's why they keep saying they're going to work the Wu Flu into Halloween Ends, that it's part of the plot.
Okay.
The Wu Flu it's part of the plot because it explains Michael's absence in 2020 and 2021. There was no Halloween. There was no trick-or-treating because people were afraid of the cough.
Yeah.
And Michael, therefore, they're going to say he didn't come out because nobody else came out. He didn't want to just break into homes, so that's how he was doing it. He needed Halloween.
How pissed was he?
I know, we were all mad, but he must have been really mad, right?
I can't imagine that he wouldn't have been. Like, damn it, that's my one night. That's the one thing all year that I do.
Michael's watching the fake news and they're like, we're going to have to cancel Halloween in Haddonfield. And Michael
I lie in wait.
He's sitting in front of his TV.
364 nights a year.
Michael's looking at the TV and he's like, damn it. I can't believe. And then in 2021, when they're like, you know what? We got to do it again, guys. Michael's stewing.
I think the first person he should go after is a certain doctor that has been calling the shots.
We're going to get another strike warning. Let's not talk about it. So, all right. So 2020 and 2021 are easily explainable away. And I think that's why, all jokes aside, why Gordon, what's his name? Gordon Gecko Green? Gordon Geyer Green? Why he was saying that they're going to work the Wu Flu into the plot. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. Is they're going to be like, he hasn't been around because of COVID. Okay. But 2019 still has a big hole in it.
That's what I was just going to say.
So what do you say? Explain, voice of reason.
Was he hibernating?
Did he need a year off? After all, because that was a big night in 2018.
It was epic in comparison, I think. So I don't know. I took a vacation. I mean, for him, that's probably the equivalent to him what a week off for us is.
You know how fucked up that is. He was on vacation when he was locked up in the insane asylum. So in the hospital. So they don't call it asylum anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, come on. He was in there forever. He
was.
You don't come out and have one big Halloween and that's it. Now, he didn't need a break. They need to come up with a plausible. I know this doesn't sound like it should be of real concern in a horror film because in horror films, logic can usually go out the window. But Not in this case. I think you do need to actually come up with a viable reason why Michael wasn't around in 2019. Or you could say that the survivors went elsewhere, that they didn't want to be around a year later. Now, that's hard to explain because Lori has been wanting to kill Michael for her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of her going somewhere else, that doesn't seem realistic. But you got to remember, they could play Allison a lot of different ways. They could play Allison like she is in tremendous trauma. They could also play Allison like you could do her a million ways. She could be so tortured that she can't be around. Like she's like kind of what Jamie was going through in Halloween 5,
Yeah.
where she's a year later, she's still got all this trauma and having all these psychological episodes. So they could come up with a reason why Lori had to get Allison out of Haddonfield the following year.
Mm-hmm.
They could come up with that, and that could add to the drama of it
Well, there's
all.
other people in Haddonfield, though.
Well, right, but yeah, I guess that still doesn't explain why Michael wouldn't have been around. That's
Yeah.
true. But they seem to still want to have their cake and eat it too when they try to pretend that Michael is kind of after Lori. That like if Lori's not around, he's not around.
The one
Because
that got away.
well, in a way, because on one hand, they have shown us outright that that is not the case, that Michael is hunting Haddonfield. So that wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
But it's again, it's one of those sort of, it's one of those plot holes that they're telling us one thing and they're showing us another.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're telling us that he's not specifically after her. At the same time, there are some things that have made this kind of personal. So I don't know. You could easily play it where at this point he is hunting that family. He was more than happy to take out Karen at the end. I mean, really
Yeah.
happy. You could almost see a little smile on his face, even with the mask on.
Really?
You know what I mean? So I'm not quite sure how they want to play this. I think they need a really good, strong excuse for why there was no showdown in 2019. And you're
Mhm.
right. It's a little weird to say that if Lori and Allison are gone, that somehow Michael doesn't just exact vengeance on everybody else in the town anyway.
Yeah,
I'm saying vengeance. He really has nothing to be vengeful about.
exactly.
But that's probably how he sees it. So what do you think? Can you come up with any reason why 2019 he would not have been in Haddonfield on another killing spree?
I don't know.
Do you think maybe he was training like a protege? You know, like a Robin to his Batman. He's like, all right, now when you're
Perfect.
stabbing people, you got to, no, not like that. He takes the hand. He's like, no, no.
Yes.
He has to like rotate the arm a little
Yeah.
bit. He's like, no, it's like this. It's like this. Damn it.
Training someone else to pick up the torch.
Yeah, he's that committed to
Yeah.
slaughtering Haddonfield. He's like, look, there's going to come
He's
a day where
teaching
I'm
a
not around
master
anymore. I know he's got a course online,
A master class, a TED Talk, something.
how to wipe out Haddonfield. You know, but I do have an idea actually that might work.
Okay.
What if the police had set up, like, what if they brought in state troopers, which they would have at this point? That was a hell of a massacre in those last two films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's plausible that state police and like barricades and cops just everywhere were there for 2019, don't you think? I think that's a really plausible thing after
Yeah,
this kind of murder spree.
preemptively.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha.
not even just Halloween night. I mean, maybe like 2-3 days leading up to it. That would not surprise me. And then, like we said, 2020, 2021 are explainable. So now by 2022, I think it's good writing to say, well, it has been 3 years now. We're not so concerned about him coming out. In fact, you could even come up with a storyline where where the story is that they thought Michael would have come out during COVID anyway, and he didn't. So therefore, the state troopers, the police are all kind of a little bit more relaxed because he didn't come out the last couple of years. That would make sense, I think, for how David Gordon Green's story is that he wants to involve the Wu Flu into the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
That I could see that. I could see Laurie Strode. Just go with me for a second on this before anyone shoots it down. I could see Laurie yelling at cops and saying, you know, of course he wasn't going to be here the last couple of years. There was COVID, and they'd say, no, like that wouldn't stop him. If he was truly still out there, he would have come. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd be saying that he would have come back. They locked everything down in 2019, but now they realize that he's probably gone. Something like that. Do you think that makes sense, or am I just reaching to try to put this together?
Well, I think all of this is reaching. I mean, because we're just we're just coming up with all kinds of crazy stuff. Do you think he would ever just go to a trunk and treat? Wouldn't that be more efficient?
Yeah. Look, he makes odd decisions. Let me ask you this: in this timeline, I don't think has he driven yet? Because in the old timelines, he drove every movie. He drove in every single movie, not the Rob Zombie ones, but in all the other ones, he always drove. And now I don't see him.
No.
I don't think he drove into the 2018 film, did he?
Not that I recall.
Yeah, he didn't drive in Halloween Kills. So if he's not driving in this current time, well, he drove in the 78 film. So that is part of this timeline now too. But I'm just thinking if he doesn't have wheels anymore, that's going to also fuck up his whole plan every Halloween.
Yeah.
You need wheels to get around like this. Where does he go? He doesn't have a house.
Right.
Where does he go?
Where does he
between
go?
Halloweens?
And he's pretty conspicuous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's got, he's not an oddly shaped man, but I mean, he's very imposing, and they always make a thing about shooting his boots, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me throw this out though. Now that I think about it, in this timeline, see, it's all getting convoluted because I'm forgetting which movies don't count.
Yeah,
he hasn't had an opportunity yet where a Halloween is over and then he has somewhere else to go. Because he got locked up after the 78 film, right, that night. And we saw that in a flashback in Halloween Kills. So we saw him get locked up then. And then once he got out, it was 2018. He just did all this. So this is the first time that anyone has ever known of him to commit a bunch of killings and then he just disappears off into the night. So yeah, you could, I think you could come up with a thing where by 2022, the cops think, well, he's not out there. We haven't seen him for a couple of years. We're thinking now that he's not going to come back, and they start letting their guard down, and then of course he shows back up. I think that's the only plausible way to come up with where he was in the meantime, like why he wasn't around, and why somehow the town would not be under just incredible lockdown, right? Because otherwise, of course, they'd have to be. Yeah. Hey, before we wrap up, it'd be weird after he killed Karen. I was saying earlier it was probably like 4 or 5 in the morning, but if it wasn't, let's say it was like not even 2, could he have gone to a bar and like was anything still open where he could just go and like after a long night's work, like a long day's work?
Yeah.
When you just need to go like have like a watering hole.
Have a brew?
Yeah. Is that possible that he was just that would have been a great ending scene.
Yeah.
If there was a bar still open. I don't know how there would have been, but
yeah, they could have ended it at the same bar where everything pretty much began.
No, because that one closed up, remember? I'm thinking most of them closed up. I just think it'd be hilarious if he's like, bartender, I'll have my usual. And they're like, who are you? Yeah. He's just putting away shot after shot, just kind of celebrating all his kills.
Yeah.
That was a lot of kills. Anyway, guys, look, if you like this video, if you want to hear more Halloween bullshit from us, we've got a lot coming up about Halloween Ends 2022, as people are calling it for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, it's being called that. We've got the radio tower thing, that whole theory. We're going to talk about that in a couple more days because we need to address that theory. So much bullshit going on. So like, subscribe, click the bell. You'll get notified, all that bullshit. But most importantly, tell them, Voice of Reason, what's the most important thing we need from the audience?
Drop a comment. We
love the comments section. It is a hoot. 99% of our comments are fucking awesome. 1% are completely insane. More than Michael. So anyway, jump into the comments. Let us know what you think. Where could he have been? How are they going to explain this? What the fuck? Anyway,
and
guys,
where does he go?
Where is he going to go? Well, again, it's not does he go. It's where will he go after Halloween Kills? Because it's not a regular thing, right?
Right.
Anymore with this current timeline. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Have a great one.
Thanks.